guys play small ball really well tonight, especially we've been peppering you with questions about defense, base running all season long, and it really clicked for you all in that department tonight.
Yeah, I think guys have, sometimes when you're younger or you haven't experienced things, you have to in order to understand the value or the importance. And, we're not exactly a get-in-your-face, coaching staff unless something really goes awry. But we explain it, and then you got to kind of live it, and the living part is more valuable. And we've seen it firsthand that communicating or base running or just executing a small thing, or even tonight, it probably got lost in the mix, but just discipline at the plate led to 2 innings that were really important. You got to understand the importance of that. So again, coaches can speak it, but I think where you learn the true value is when it doesn't go well for you, and then you kind of have regrets. Right now our guys are playing with no regrets, and they're improved in a lot of different areas. Doesn't make them perfect. They made no errors tonight. We had one on the scoreboard. There's a couple things you'd like to do differently, but they're having fun. They're playing together, and we've certainly improved in a lot of different areas.
How impressive was what Cal did defensively tonight?
It was outstanding. I mean, if you just go off the stat sheet, we erased 3 of their base runners, and obviously he had a big part of that. And you win by 4, you could start to kind of come up with all kinds of theories that wouldn't necessarily be conspiracy theories. So, but the biggest thing he does is just, come with energy, preparation. Communication is a really important part of his game. And then no matter whether it's him or Chuck in there, you get at bats where you feel like if you're not cheering for them and watching every pitch, you feel like you're doing an injustice to them or the team. It's just the type of guys they are, but also every at-bat is a fight with those 2 guys. So look forward to Chuck's next at-bat, and of course, it's been good to have Cal back there defensively and offensively.
Their starter had only given up 2 home runs in 10 starts. You guys got to him early, 3 in just 2 innings. Just what did you see from your guys?
That was the game. We didn't have anything strategy-wise or anything that really stood out. I mean, obviously, you get to this point, you've got plenty of statistics to go off of, and the guys watch video or stuff like that, but he's good. He's good, and he's a tough kid. He's been through a lot, but our guys, for whatever reason, were really dialed in against what he was doing and made it challenging on him, even when we didn't, produce. So, our guy won the starter battle, I guess, because Lindsey was so good, but he got some help from his teammates, and I don't think it was really their intent, but he deserved their help, is what I should say. It was nice to see him get his first win, and again, that guy will bounce back and be pretty good from here on out the rest of his career, but our guys did a good job.
Why was Lindsey so effective again tonight?
Kind of a similar deal to what he's had going on. Now, we got out there, and I think he was at 105 pitches. I didn't look at the exact, and he wants to keep going, and he takes care enough of his body that he can keep going. But I think each outing has been get a little higher in a pitch count, get a little more comfortable, get a little better at handling running game and little things like that. So, and he's not a newborn. He's not starting from scratch. He's got experience, but it just seems he's kind of settled into what he's doing. But if you look at his first outing versus this one, they're not that much different, other than maybe we played a little bit better defense behind him and kind of have found ourselves adjacent to him a little bit.
Where do you think he has grown the most in these 5 starts?
That's a tough one. I think each time kind of when things get a little gritty, not doing the gritty, but when it requires some grit, I think that might be it. And again, you got to kind of experience it a little bit. But he's a guy with a good track record, and I know our guys weren't big fans of having to face him in scrimmages, so his stuff has been good. He hasn't created a new pitch or anything like that. Like some of our other guys, he's been really consistent for us. But also like our entire team, as it gets a little more challenging and we get closer to summertime, he seems to just be the best version of himself.
You're going to Hollis there at the end, and pumping 96, 97, confident. How much different is he right now?
It's crazy. He's turned himself into a draft pick, It was a guy that was an in-state guy that's a good student that likes the University of Tennessee, and let's give this guy a chance because he throws strikes. And of course, he played in the Knights organization. Those guys kind of marketed him as much as you can. Like, I'm telling you, this guy wins games for us. And he's always thrown strikes for us. He's always been a good guy to have around. But the big picture thing is he's gone from, let's give this guy a chance, to he's a draft pick. I mean, he can go get 96, 97. It's a little different look. He's gotten a lot better in a lot of different areas. And then they showed, I mean, throughout the game, they're number one for a reason in that category. So to come in and kind of slam it shut and so we can move on to the next thing was big. I know in the stands you might be thinking, well, no matter, you score double-digit runs and this, that, or the other. There's no rules here. This is a pretty good battle, and both teams went out there and did the best they could with whatever situations they were, and he certainly capped it off by doing the best he could with that opportunity.
What's Jared Dickey doing so well right now at the plate?
I think he's getting close to what he was in January and February. I mean, you guys came to some of the scrimmages. It was a little out of control, almost to the point. I think we did kind of start to bunt him or move him down, do something, because it was insane. I can say it now. And then as the season started, it kind of went away, I think, from a little bit of pressing or whatever it might be. But the guy's a bat. He's very consistent for us defensively. I do think he can catch. I do think when his pro opportunity comes this summer, why not try him behind the plate if you want? He's a competitive and decent, speed-wise. I say he's decent, but he's a competitive, good base runner. But he's a hitter. That's why we recruited him. That's what he is. That's why, again, he'll get drafted. So he's got good ability to hit. And, again, like Andrew Lindsey, like our team, he's kind of settled into just play ball, man, and not worry about all this other riffraff. And I'm in on this at-bat I got going on right here. And he's pretty talented when he does that. And also brings a lot of character to the table, as you guys have talked about.
Tony, how difficult is it, or how rare is it to be as complete as a hitter as he is? I mean, hits lefties, hits righties, he'll go against the shift, he'll go up the middle with 2 strikes, he'll hit power when he's got a chance. I mean, I don't know if there's something that he can't do up there. I mean, how rare is it for that age to have that?
It's multifaceted. He kind of got a unique freshman year. This guy's still a sophomore by paper. But it's got to – Coach Jamison, who was my coach in Missouri, had a complete hitter, and then he had all these circles that all kind of touch each other and kind of meet in the middle to make up a great hitter. It was all these different categories, so it's a lot. And with him, it started with the body transformation. I mean, you got to be athletic. You got to take care of your body. And then here in the cage, not only does he take a ton of repetitions in order to improve, but he's got a plan too. He's not in here just swinging to swing. So I'm sure there's someone on the team who has taken more swings, but I don't know that anyone's done it with more intent and with more of a specific plan to what he wants to accomplish. And then the mentality is there. And part of it, he's been through a lot of adversity. Part of it, he's a great kid from a good family. But the athlete he's turned himself into and how hard he works on the swing and the mentality are the 3 things that would be the biggest components I can think of right now.
How difficult was it then to decide that DH spot when Griffin's swinging so well and you have KT and Dryling still hitting on the left side?
Not fun. This is supposed to be a positive deal here. We won. And you had Miller, KT, Jasloff, Dryling all standing there with batting gloves on in the last inning. And by no means was it, it's just a free-for-all for at-bats. I mean, they had a good lefty out on the mound and we're trying to get something done there. We go with Jasloff, but Dylan will have his opportunity at some point, tomorrow, and he's got probably as bright a future as anybody that can swing the bat on our team if we're going to talk about pro ball and stuff like that. So it's a challenge, but we weren't saying that at the beginning of the year. In February and March, you guys, probably thought I was crazy or would criticize the lineups when they wouldn't work, and when they would, just go with that. And now we have a good problem. We've got a bunch of guys that want to help us win, and we got a bunch of guys that can help us win. So we meet up there. We met in my office today, and we'll discuss what we think a plan is and go with it. And we'll see what the scoreboard says at the end of the day. But right now, it's a fun group to be around, and I know our coaches will prepare, and I know our guys will compete. So let's roll with that.
Is there anything surprising at this point about what A.J. Russell does when you put him in there? Is it just one of these, he's kind of a sophomore in your mind now?
Yeah, no, I think he's, like Dryling, he's got an elevated level of maturity for whatever reason, and then also he's got ability. I mean, another guy, you get good feedback from your hitters during scrimmage season, or if they just face them for whatever reason on a given day, and, he's got good stuff. So, and he likes to compete. I know he wants to be out there. And the cool thing about him that maybe sometimes the other guys should recognize and can learn from a freshman. Sometimes you're always wanting to learn from the older guys, but go out there, he can have a conversation. The heart rate's right here. He's not afraid to laugh at a joke, but he's taking his craft very seriously. It's a pretty good balance of things he's got going on there. So, you know, could have brought him in earlier, could have left him in longer, but looking forward to his next opportunity that he gets to compete.